Grant, are you ready for that gamer rant? That disgruntled gamer rant.
So I mean, you know what we're doing? We're going from a good Nintendo system to a shitty one. Oh God. Ed, play the commercial. Play the good commercial. This is the commercial that fooled everybody thinking that this was whoever made this commercial deserves all the raise in the world because they made out like a bandit.
You ready for that commercial, Grant?
I'm ready for the commercial.
Sharing now.
I remember this commercial too.
It came from the third dimension with its own brain.
You see this?
Its own voice.
Nope.
Its own legs. There's only one problem. It needs your eyes. Virtual Boy. See it now in 3D.
Okay. So let's start from the top. First of all, whatever there was in this commercial was nothing like that in the real life. Not at all. Zero. Second of all, this thing was huge and it weighed a lot. So you had to like sit in front of it like a dickhead. Like imagine like having that thing on your floor. Imagine having a carpet floor. You see how this thing hold up? You'd have to like basically lay on a wood floor for that thing to balance out. Because if you put that on carpet, it's not going to stand up. All right. Also, if you wrap that thing around your head, it weighed like 10 pounds. So you had to like make sure you had like a super sturdy thing. It didn't even come with a headband. You had to like fucking like tape one around basically, which was the biggest failure of all. Now, number two, this thing had 22 games. That's it. This system
Only
had 22.
14 released in America.
Correct.
Out of those 22.
Yep. This thing, I don't know why they chose red. Was the worst color they could have chose. Even the golf games in red. You think that you're hitting your ball into blood. And it gave severe migraines. Like if you played this game long enough, you would get migraines and headaches. So this thing actually hurts you. This thing would actually this thing would actually cripple you if you played it a long time.
Can I say the story, Grant?
Okay, hold on.
We should have started with a story.
Okay, go ahead. Go to the story. Let's hear your story.
We should have started with a story.
I didn't have one. I refused to get one.
Well, the story starts with me as little 12-year-old Ed Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had to go to Walmart for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I go with her to Walmart. I go to the game sections like I always do because I like looking at all the games. And I saw this on display.
Mm-hmm. That's when you can actually play it.
To test it out.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, little 12-year-old me walks over to it. I put it on my head, and it's Mario Tennis. And I'm like, wow. And then after 5 minutes, I immediately took it off because I had a migraine.
Oh, my God. Yep.
Because it was horrible.
Horrendous.
Like, it was 3D-ish in red, but it was such horrible, I would say, imagery inside the thing that it was just, I mean, this is why I made it on a gamer rant, but it was just complete garbage, dude.
And on top of that, none of these games were virtual reality. Except one. There's only like 2 games out of all that had
3D-ish. It wasn't virtual reality. You know?
It was very 3D-ish.
It was 3D-ish.
And the thing about the only one that actually quote unquote felt virtual reality that I can remember was the boxing game.
Yeah.
Because you actually looked like you had to, the left controller controlled the left arm, and the right controller controlled the right arm. Because I remember they
marketed this as 32-bit.
Yeah, well, they should have marketed it in the trash can. It's
not 32-bit, dude.
No, it's not 32-bit at all.
It's 32-bit in red, maybe, but definitely not.
So they had, let's see, I'm trying to find a list of the games. I'm trying to see. I know they had 22 games, but they had a large collection of games. Wonderful games, actually. Some of these games are actually expensive because people like to buy things. They had wonderful games like Mario Land, Wario, and Waterworld.
Yep.
And I mean Waterworld, like the Kevin Costner movie, the terrible Kevin Costner movie, they made into a terrible Virtual Boy game. And Ed, if you're playing a game that's based on water, what color should the water be?
Blue.
Well, what color was it in the Virtual Boy?
Red.
Why the fuck would you make a game like this? Also, the golf game. Let's talk about the golf game.
Go ahead.
Everything was red, no green. So you hit it onto the red.
Every game on this thing was red.
I know. The thing about it is they had zero differential of color. That's what made it confusing. This is what caused the migraines. You're not supposed to have that much red light in your eyes,
especially that close to your eyes.
Especially like close to your eyes, especially being that clunky and heavy. That thing was terrible.
Yeah. And it was all right. So they released it in 1995, and it didn't even last a year.
No,
they took it off the shelves and canceled it.
Well, you know why though, right? It's because the PlayStation came out. The PlayStation kicked the shit. Like, why would you try to compete with the PlayStation with this hunk of shit?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like they were. I think they didn't even get to like 98% of their sales.
No shit. No
2%. Are you kidding me?
But they were already making the Nintendo 64. So why would that's the thing
it's a very weird thing to come out in 1995.
Yeah, like it wasn't even like. First of all, we're not even good at virtual reality.
Knew the PlayStation was there, it was coming. So it was just like, why?
And then they knew about. And then they knew about the Nintendo 64. I'm sorry. Then it was the Ultra. Remember, it was the Ultra 64. That's what they call it then. Code name Ultra 64. But here's the thing: is guys, our virtual reality is not even good in 2025. Why the fuck do you think it's still good 30 years before? Like, what were you doing?
Well, that was our Disgruntled Gamer Rant. The virtual boy.
2 thumbs down.